Hello guys, Be Blessed from Switzerland here. Today I want to show you my automatic farm I built for Scrapmechanic survival because I don't really like to farm that much. I rather want to continue building on my base or design a new car. So I built this system that harvests and plants the crops automatically for me, so I only need to defend it at night. This farm is just a proof of concept. You can for sure adjust it to your own need so it will fit the style you play. And without further ado, let's start with the building process. Okay, let's start. First of all, in this chest we see all the parts we will need to build this farm. With all components in our inventory now, we will start at the center of the farm. In the center I have already connected this wood block to the water tank down at the shore, because as you may know we will need this later for our water gun. First of all we need 2 wood blocks on top of the already placed one, and then need to add the controller on top of this. To add the controller you may need a support structure behind it to place it in the upwards facing direction like I did here. This support is then no longer needed. The next step is to add the switch to the controller, so we can later switch the farm on and off. Then we add another wood block on top of the controller, and as you see, the pillar is now 6 blocks high. On top of the pillar we add a bearing, and on top of the bearing another block. We continue with adding 6 other blocks to each side to our middle wood block. Lastly, we connect the controller to the bearing. Now with the bearing connected, we can go into the controller and set 4 of them to 90 degrees, so it will slowly spin. If you build a bigger farm and you have a bigger diameter, you will need to split it up even more, for example 45 degrees. With the controller now properly set, we can press the loop button so it will not stop spinning. Next we wanna add the chests to both sides, where the seeds and the harvested crops will be stored. For this chest to be able to pick up the crops, we need to ensure that the arrow is pointing up to the chest. On the other one the arrow will pointing down, so it will plant the seeds we put in the chest. Now to the logic. We will add a logic gate as well as a sensor and a timer to delay the water pump. Here we will need some extra block to connect the sensor to the logic gate, but those will then no longer be needed. Now we can connect the sensor to the logic gate and the logic gate to the timer, as well as the logic gate to the downward facing pump. Then we need to set the logic gate to NAND, so it will negate the sensor signal. Depending on your farm size, the time delay will vary for you, but in my case 1 second and 500 milliseconds worked perfectly. Now with this all set, the last logic related thing we will need to do is to set the sensor to a range of 4. The water pump we can just add anywhere on the chest, so it will water our crops. The water pump we have to connect to the water tank down at the shore, as I explained at the beginning. And as mentioned before, we now can connect the timer to the water pump. The main thing missing now is the farmland. We will need to place those in a circle, and to make this easier, you can use the dispensers as a guide. You can also go in the controller and adjust the first digit to another degree, so you can line it up anywhere where you want. As you see, they are all placed with an offset of 1 block, so it is quite easy to remember when building. It is possible that sometimes you will run into the issue that you can't place the farmland where you want. In this case I just removed the 2 adjacent ones and then I was able to place them. And don't forget that maybe our construction will get in the way, so you can just remove the construction itself to be able to build there. With that one placed, we now have all the farmland placed, and we'll need to connect the switch to the sucking pump, and we are finished. For the first start of the machine, you will need to add one crop manually, so the sensor can trigger a first time. And as you see, it places the crop and then will water it with a certain amount of delay. The one crop we placed manually will sadly not be watered. You can just destroy this one and it will plant it on the next turn. And just like this, you have your own fully automatic farm. As you've seen, it will attract some farm bots, but I left it run for nearly 5 nights in a row and it's quite manageable. And I never had any farm protection. I was able to kill the bots even before they reached the farm. But I can only recommend to stop the farm from time to time, not build up too big of a raid. If you have any ideas for other creations, be sure to write them in the comments so I can give it a try. Maybe it could be interesting for you to follow me on Twitter, because some easier designs I just post there with a picture and will not make a video. And with everything said, I wish you all a blessed day.